Weather returns to normal, everyone is happy about it, but now they have to deal with the awful odor of, well, he has all this love for science and is reading a book, you can just download the knowledge from it. Well, Jimmy here has invented a way for you to chew a small book-looking piece of gum that grants you the full understanding of that book. But that isn't important just yet. In school, the class is going to take place in a candy-selling contest to raise money, and the winner of the most sold wins VIP tickets to Retroland. The biggest rivals in this competition are Jimmy and Cindy. The two do their best in their different pitching techniques, but alas, Jimmy is falling behind and can't sell like Cindy and Libby together are. Jimmy decides that he needs the top salesman to do this, so he invents the perfect salesman, Willie Loman 3000. He doesn't take no for an answer. Literally. But things quickly go from good to bad as to make these sales happen. Willie has been giving stuff away from Jimmy, like Goddard, his rocket, etc. This gets escalated until the salesman tries to sell Jimmy as a free incentive for the candy. Jimmy's quick thinking has him offer the salesman that looked over earlier, which you can't chew more than one of at a time, so when the salesman eats it, he short circuits, and the winner of the contest is Ty. Both Jimmy and Cindy tied, and now have to go to Retroland together. Now, I know I'll say this at some other points of this video, but I just love this show. It's very rare that I don't view an episode as a classic or something that I can't recall from memory pretty well. These two segments are both very nostalgic. A lot of season 1 is packed with heavy episodes, but at the same time, the rest of the series is Robot. Jimmy needs some help testing another one of his inventions, but both Carl and Sheen are too busy to help him out. Feeling lonely, he notices Butch playing at the park with his younger brother, causing Jimmy to have the want for a younger sibling. So at dinner, he lays down the facts to his parents that he wants them to get busy getting busy, so he can have a younger brother. So while that really led to nowhere, Jimmy is going to do it himself if he has to, and by that I mean him building and putting together a very big fun. Hal caught up and dubs him Robot, and immediately asks Jimmy what he wants to do. Jimmy is so proud. He finally has a brother. His parents are both part accepting and questioning Jimmy's new brother, and I guess their new son. Finally now, Jimmy has someone to test out his new inventions with. First being a super pogo stick where when Robot tries it, bounces all the way around the moon and back and asks Jimmy to go there, and that's what we call foreshadowing. Later on, Carl and Sheen come around and meet Robot as we see how much more perfect at activities over Jimmy he is, and Jimmy starts getting upset that Robot is getting all of this attention and praise over him. But like, my guy, you invented him. You should be proud of how advanced your creation is. But Robot also impresses Cindy and Libby and ends up going to hang out with them as Jimmy becomes left out of the group. Heck, even his parents are taking hold with Miss Fowl and goes off on a date with them. Jimmy is keeping an eye on this as he still has to return medicine to the past, but things start happening. Weird things, like the jukebox at the candy bar disappearing and power outages are happening. Knowing that he needs to get him back to his time immediately and break up this date, he does whatever he can to do so, but nothing is working, and Edison has no interest in going back because of his infatuation with Miss Fowl. But luckily, Miss Fowl tells him that he needs to go back to his time, and Anne's really tried proposing to her after a few hours together. Nice try, Miss Edison. Miss Fowl rejects the proposal, though, so Edison willingly heads back to the lab with Jimmy and is sent back home. This is one of the lighter on plot episodes that is so basic and so quick to get through that they always feel like a nice little palate cleanser and look into a random regular day in retro. And there's Candy Baby. Jimmy is being babysat by his grandmother, but the roles quickly get reversed when Jimmy sneaks a potion into her medicine bottle to help her experience youth again, to stop her from describing all the problems with getting old and having health issues. It all goes wrong when after she drinks it, she doesn't just get her youth back, she turns into a full-on baby, one that can talk, where now Jimmy has to play babysitter and take care of his grandma. A bunch of shenanigans ensue. It's another fun episode in the vein of the last two, having less ideal situations to be in, with a wrapped-up situation swiftly covering everything up. With the help of a main cast of friends, they're able to get brain control Canada to turn her back into her regular self, just as Jimmy's parents flew up back to the house. And of course, Carl has to do what Carl does, so naturally when thirsty, he drinks the antidote, thus aging him into an older man who now goes and dances with Jimmy's grandma. Forget Jimmy's mom, it's all about Jimmy's grandma now. Right, Carl? I'm really thirsty. Time is money. Jimmy is a simple, smart dude. He sees knowledge to learn, and by gosh, does he want to learn it. So after seeing a commercial for a 1,000-volume set of infinite knowledge encyclopedias, he goes to ask his parents to get it for him. And at first, they seem pretty into it, until they find out that the price is...
Oh, my. Well, take you anyway.
That's too much for them to commit, and if Jimmy really wants the set, then he needs to go and get a job to pay for it himself by working at McSpanky's. Just kidding, that's a later episode. Here, he goes back in time around 15 years to convince his dad to invest in McSpanky's, and then reap the rich benefits of it in the future. Once they do so, they end up back in the modern day to realize that the plan had worked, and his parents are now filthy stinking rich. Complete with golden duck statues and all, their house is now a palace. But things aren't as great as they seem, as Hugh and Judy are both very different. They're snooty, stuck up, and look down on those who don't have wealth. They even care more about the stuff and money they have over their own son, driving his poor friends to leave the house, kicking out Goddard and having their servant bring Jimmy to his room. But hey, things aren't all that bad, so when he looks in his room, all 1,000 volumes of the encyclopedias are there, which is what he really wanted all along, so that's a win in my book. But what good is getting what you want when your parents are completely different people now, who love their money over you? Jimmy regrets what he has done, heads back to the past again and undoes the damage, returning back to the present where everything is normal again. And hey, in the end, his parents decide that since these are educational books, that they would put aside other things that they were saving for, like a vacation, to get them for him. But Jimmy ends up telling them that he doesn't want the books anymore, but thanks them for caring enough to make that gesture. It's actually a really sweet little episode about the value of things that matter most versus material wants, and I just really enjoyed how it was all portrayed. Y'all like lima beans? I sure don't. It's not for the taste, it's not for the look, it's simply the fault of an episode of Jimmy Neutron. The episode I Dream of Jimmy from season 1 took us into the mind of Carl. Due to his increasing nightmares causing him a lack of sleep, Jimmy, for years, uses one of his inventions to enter Carl's dreams and nightmares to help find the root of the problem. In parts of the dreams, we see that Carl sees himself as the boy genius and Jimmy as the not boy genius, even going as far as to use him for a show and tell moment for the class that puts Jimmy in an electric chair and shocks him. The only problem is he feels the real pain of it. This also makes me think that there is some underlying jealousy turning into hatred within Carl's subconscious that is being portrayed here. Like, Carl, I know you're a cutie, but that doesn't mean you need to torture and eliminate Jimmy over it. We later find out that the root of Carl's nightmares is his fear of lima beans. Yes, lima beans. Underneath Carl's bed in the dream is a small anthropomorphic lima bean playing a harmonica. Nothing too worrisome.
That is not cool.
Turns back on the lima bean to reassure Carl that it's just a little lima bean. Behind him, we see that same little lima bean eat the harmonica and grow in size, turning into a full lima bean monster that proceeds to chase them. This is why I don't like lima beans. Seeing this when I was a kid terrified me to my core. The eyeless, sharp-toothed monster lima bean ate me nightmares. I vowed back then to never eat or in fact never acknowledge their existence as we improved until making this video. Let's just hope I can sleep. The rest of the episode is filled with weird and wacky moments within the dreams of Carl. They realize that they're dreaming so that they can escape, but once they... Okay, this one really is a classic. I feel out of any episode of Jimmy Neutron, this had the most reruns on TV, and I have seen it so many times. But I'm seeing it again now, so let's talk about it. Miss Bell is tossing the class a partner-based marine project where Carl and Sheen have partnered up, and Libby has partnered up with another girl in class, Brittany, for material reasons, leaving Jimmy and Cindy partnerless and now forced to work together by Miss Fowl. So when it comes to doing the actual project, Jimmy is going to find the treasure of the Uzi Scab, an old sunken pirate ship, as he then shows off his submarine. Where did he get this? Did he just build this himself? Probably did. He went forward with this idea in hopes that Cindy won't want any part of it, but she's in, and so is Carl and Sheen for reasons. In order to find the treasure, he needs help tracking it down underwater, so he whips out his Gilgap 9000, which allows him to speak and understand fish, but this proves not to be as helpful as he thought, and Cindy pulls the mutiny card and everyone on board tries him out. It's a nice budget. Cindy, of course, is able to find the Uzi Scab pretty easily, right until they are stopped and caught by a giant squid that holds the submarine captive. Everyone is scared and they need Jimmy's help, but of course he's playing it petty and needs Cindy to admit that he is smarter, nicer, and all-around better person than her, and she ends up doing so. But the Gilgap isn't working on the squid as it was meant for fish only. So Jimmy takes one of Carl's fish snackums that have freeze-dried squid in the ingredients. So by the laws of science, he can use it now to be able to speak to the squid. Don't question the logic, just roll with it. The communication with the squid works. He helps them get the treasure, and they all make it out alive. But once they reveal the treasure inside the chest, it was just some saltwater taffy, which, hey, I love saltwater. But while being disappointed, they still got a no plus. Jimmy on ice. You know, I'm just your average fella. I don't like it when it's too cold or too hot. Jimmy and the rest of Retroville are dealing with a pretty hot summer that everyone is dreading as they go through it. Cindy and Libby are fine though, as they have a pool and aren't willing to share unless the boys admit that the girls are getting the boards. Well, we all know that they aren't going to do that. So Jimmy starts getting to thinking all smart like noticing that Carl is applying sunblock. So why not create a strong enough sunblock that doesn't go on your skin, but instead goes into the atmosphere? And hey, it worked! Things cool off and it even starts to snow. How could this go wrong? Everyone seems to be happy, aside from Cindy, who thinks his antics are pretty pathetic. Libby, on the other hand, goes and joins the others having fun in the snow. But while things seemed okay for the moment, the next day the temperature has dropped severely and the heights of the snow is piling up. It's time for Ice Age 2. We aren't talking about the movie, also because Ice Age 2 was called The Meltdown. Clearly, that's not what's happening here. Everyone in town starts going feral, acting like they're all cavemen and trying to sacrifice Jimmy at one point. But Carl ends up coming in handy once again based on the comment about his perspiration and learning that the sunblock isn't waterproof. But when you really get to thinking about it, snow is just water, technically. Why wouldn't the snow work just as well as sweat? Well, I'm not the smart one here, Jimmy is. So he gathers the sweatiest people in town and has them run to produce enough sweat to reverse the sunblock's effects and stop the new Ice Age. Well, that didn't work. Disney made a 6th Ice Age movie for Disney+. I'll stop with the Ice Age jokes now. The weather returns to normal, everyone is happy about it, but now they have to deal with the awful odor of body sweat. At this point, can I even try to be logical about this science stuff? Because I don't think you can. Battle of the Band. Another episode that I really like a lot personally. There's a talent show coming up, and our trio here are coming up with what they plan on doing for it. Jimmy's all like, hey fellow students, listen to me do algebra and Latin, and Carl wants to blow bubbles, and Sheen wants to spit water. Okay, well, you know, all of these sound so entertaining, I couldn't pick which one I'm most excited for. Cindy and Libby are doing this river dancing number, which they give them a little taste of, but Jimmy, on the spot, puts together an idea to tell the girls that his band is going to perform. So take that, Cindy. Oh wait, Jimmy doesn't have a band. Yeah. So now Jimmy, Carl, and Sheen have to come together with the instruments he put together to go using the power of just playing what they are thinking. The power of play. Just like me. After a debate about the name of the band, they come up with a combination idea from all of them, calling themselves the Llama Lords of Science. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. They give off a test performance and they have people gather up to hear them and everyone is impressed. But quickly things start to go awry, as everyone is having their Justin Timberlake moment thinking that they're the biggest out of the rest of the band. Jimmy wants to rename the band to the Jimmy Neutron Experience. Sheen wants to rename the band as Sheen and the Sheenettes, and Carl wants to name it the Carl Weasel Project. I like Carl's name the best. This gets everyone into a big fight, especially since each one of them also wants to do some form of instrumental solo. But when the talent show rolls around, things are still pretty torn between the three of them, resulting in Sheen throwing the instruments out the window of the school, destroying them, but they quickly realize that they are all friends and they don't need to be fighting over this. And so now it's time for them to hit the stage. Uh-oh, and now they're scrambling to come up with something for their performance. But in the end, Carl gets to go out there and blow bubbles. Well, one bubble, a snot bubble. One so big that it bursts and covers everyone in mucus. So as Cindy and Libby end up winning, they vow that their band will be back together for next year, which starts the fighting between them all over again. They really forgot the one lesson being taught to them this whole episode, and that's to have fun with it. See Jimmy run. So when it comes to the relay races at school, he always comes in last place. So he invents his way out of this problem by making a pair of really fast running shoes that come with super speed power so that he can smoke the competition in the relay race. But even then, he isn't smart enough to win against Cindy, who uses her smarts to distract him as Jimmy takes another big L. Limmy. In his anger, he realizes that he can run so fast that he basically becomes invisible. So in the efforts of revenge, starts trying to get back at Cindy by embarrassing her in front of her friends, but especially Nick. His fun with doing this turned into him messing with his friends as well, but the laughs only turned into fear as he is stuck running. Sheen just won't quit. After all of his efforts to get his friends' attention to help him fail, he runs around and grabs onto the merry-go-round at the playground to get out of his shoes, which eventually does work, but at the cost of him turning into a gelatinous blob, and his friends are just as terrified as they are fascinated by it, and end up just poking him for the rest of the day. I remember the first time I saw this episode, and I thought this blob of Neutron was such a cool-looking animation. I don't know why. I was just so stun-locked on how cool it looked. trading faces, where Jimmy and Cindy, who are continuously at odds, end up having their bodies switched. The consciousness and soul of Jimmy and Cindy are transferred into one another, a Freaky Friday, like father, like son situation.
Okay.
Over and over. But the real crutch of the episode comes towards the resolution, where they have Carl, Sheen, and Libby help dump their brains into one of Jimmy's inventions, then go through the things that make them, and file sort them into the right bodies. Just the thought of leaving these thoughts, ideas, and personality traits up to the hands of especially Carl and Sheen, literally lying there with their brains completely blank, is not an ideal situation to say the least. It is really funny though seeing them all go back and forth with ridiculous traits and deciding what goes where and what either of them maybe shouldn't remember. Luckily, it all works out in the end. Phantom of Retro. Another game class, another presentation. So for today's show and tell, cool kid Nick decides to take the tell part and not the show part by telling everyone about the Phantom of Retro. A ghost that lives at the kind of new amusement park but semantics, and apparently this creature eats people in the middle of the night. Jimmy doesn't believe a word of it, so he wants to scientifically prove that this is nothing more than a myth, and no one should be scared of it. Jimmy, using his powers that he learned from Nick in the movie to sneaks out after dark to head with the crew to Retro. This time, however, he doesn't get past his parents ever finding out, as his hologram projector has an oopsie, and now he's doing the limbo in his room, and his parents are mad. And Jude's gonna be all like, James Isaac Neutron. At the park, they end up running into the Phantom fairly quickly, but surprise, surprise, it was Nick all along. But then there's another Phantom. The myths are real. Real fake, that is, because this one was just Cindy and Libby. But then a third Phantom shows up, and there's no way that it can't be real now. I mean, look at it. The face, the body, but it's fake. It's just Judy and Hugh pulling a prank specifically on Jimmy for sneaking out, touch his head with the write-ups he can give for anyone slightly breaking the rules or tries messing with him. Like Cindy, of course. He even starts going all RoboCop on the students, but Goddard helps him see how cool he has been and how he is alienating his friendship from the president. He even tried to resign after that, but he can't. Once a hall monitor, always a hall monitor, unless you yourself break the rules. So of course he does just that. And he's really do. So now she is picked here for the pick no birthday.
Oh, fucking kill it. Stop running like a bitch, bro. Oh my fucking god, bro.
Jimmy likes his birthday and wants it to keep happening over and over again so he can get these chemistry sets that he can create a brand new hypercube. So every day is like
Jesus
Day,
Christ,
Jimmy's
bro.
birthday over and over. But people are sick of cake, and it's a pretty overdone concept, but I like the spin on it that Jimmy creates this birthday loop himself because he's hypnotized his parents. Funny though, the clown guy here actually breaks the device that has his parents like that, and once they realize what has happened, decide to teach him a lesson. It's been so many birthdays that they tell him that it's actually his 18th birthday now, and he needs to get out and leave to college. But he comes clean about why he hypnotized them, and he gets punished. Carl gets chased by a llama. It's an okay segment. It's
I literally have friends.
Crunch time. So here, Jimmy decides to help his friends out while Carl and Sheen don't know what candy they want. So he gets the idea to create the ultimate mega candy. He becomes a DJ of candy curation as he starts mixing up all the ultimate flavors that make candy, candy. After he goes through various